This episode of Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, and I'm excited, Eddie B. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Curry Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Edward. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Even though I don't have a debit card, I'm maintaining. I should say that.
Well, here's the thing. You have one. You just have to use it the old school way. You just have to, no, you know what? They're gonna get those old things that, like in the '90s, where they put the credit card in the thing, and then they split it across, and they had to run it through the machine to see if it was, not canceled or on hold or whatever.
Oh gosh, I remember.
Yeah, I just think of that scene in Home Alone 2 where he's checking into the hotel. He's like, "It worked," and then she looks at him, and he's just like, "Oh." Good times. Good times.
And everybody, I know you feel that just a breeze coming from one of the best stores around. I'm sorry, everybody. They are the hosts of Fun and Game Podcast. They're a Reignite podcast, Screen Snark, and he's one of the editors of the Game Informer show. Yes, it is the one, the only Matt Storm, aka Stormaggedon, in the building. Yes, hello.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm sorry that I said the he. I got so excited and everything.
Look, I went by he for like 30 plus years. I'm still getting used to it. As long as you correct yourself, no big deal, no worries.
Yes, everybody, it's Matt Storm is in the building. We met them at PAX, and I was telling them he's just everything, just his energy, just their energy. I'm sorry, I'm just so hyped that you're here and everything.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Matt. Can you tell everybody about yourself and a little bit history of your gaming years?
Sure, yeah. So I will keep the about me part brief because, as you listed, Edward, I do too many things. But yeah, I've been a podcaster for over a decade, been a DJ for over a decade. It's not just a fun title. And I do a bunch of podcasts. I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to plug later, but the gist is Fun and Games is a kind of broad topic-based video game discussion podcast. We talk about different genres of games. We do console retrospectives. We interview developers, composers, musicians, all sorts of folks, and talk about games in general. And then we do a short form show within that feed called Side Quests, which is a different host coming on every episode and talking about a game they love and why they love it. No judgment, just gushing about a game they love. And I do the main show with the one and only Jeff Moonen. And the Side Quest show I produce. I've done a few episodes myself. We've had a huge array of guests from all walks of life, including just listeners of the show submitting like a phone memo, and me editing it, which is my favorite part. As much as I love having podcasters and professionals on, the fans submitting something from like a voice note just because they want to be a part of the show is my favorite part. And then about my gaming history, I've been playing games as long as I can remember. My first console was an Atari 2600. Don't do the math, please. I'm very old.
Please, Atari. I had the Atari 2600 and the 7200.
You're here with some oldies here. So my first console was the 5200. So
nice.
It's
yeah. And so I grew up playing games like the Bad Pac-Man, Mousetrap, which was a better Pac-Man, and a ton of other Atari games like E.T. and Superman and, of course, the basics like Pong and Combat. I loved my Atari. And then the first console I urged my parents to get me was, of course, the NES. And I've been playing games ever since. I had like a small lull in like the Xbox 63, the Xbox One PS3 generation. Like I was playing them less. I had a 360 still. I was like playing handhelds, but like I wasn't really deep into gaming. And then once I started my podcast and kind of my life shifted, I jumped back in heavy in the PS4 era. I got PS4 as a wedding present, actually. And so like then since then have been keeping up with games and of course doing the podcast. And yeah, I mean, I'm a big Nintendo fan. I like a lot of different kinds of games from different platforms, from PC to PlayStation to Xbox to Nintendo. But like, if I were a super fan of anything, they say wearing a Zelda hat, it would be Nintendo. We often just say for fun and games that it's a fun drinking game if you drink every time we say Shovel Knight or anything about Nintendo, because both things will be mentioned pretty frequently.
Oh, me and Corey would be under the table with both with both names.
Okay, so Shovel Knight. I love Shovel Knight. Have you played Bat Boy?
So I haven't yet. I've heard about Bat Boy. I think Ant Dude covered it on his YouTube channel, so I've seen it and it's in my wish list, but I've not played it yet. But I've heard very good things.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, Shovel Knight. So Shovel Knight is one of my favorite games of all time. Jeff and I, one of our first like indie game codes that we got for review was Shovel Knight Dig, which was really awesome. Shout out to Celia at Yacht Club. And so like we're just huge super fans. And so I mean, I could rattle off some of my favorite indie games: The Messenger, Tunic. I recently played Cocoon, which was unbelievable. We on the podcast, we love AAA games as much as anything else. We just did an episode on Dragon's Dogma 2 and open world games, but our bread and butter, our love is, and the developers we often get to interview are indie devs, solo devs of small games. And, like we interviewed one of the devs from a Little Gator game last year, which was great.
Nice.
Yeah. So like, while we love all games, our heart is in the indie space just because it's more accessible and it's a more rising tide raises all ships kind of situation, right? Smaller devs want to partner with smaller podcasts so you can promote each other and like lift each other up and that kind of thing. So yeah, you said brief. That was as brief as I get.
With you being a DJ, did you play Just Shapes and Beats?
So I've played Just Shapes and Beats. For me, the DJ game of choice has been Fuser. I'm bummed that it's been sunsetted, but that did allow modders to get in there and like add every song in existence. But Fuser was my game. I was at the PAX 2020 when they debuted it, and I was a featured streamer while it was active for many years, which was a blast, doing weekly shows that the Fuser team would promote. So that was my DJ game of choice. I loved Fuser, but I've played DJ Hero and Shapes and Beats, and there's another digital one on Steam. I'm forgetting the name of, Extreme something or other. And so I've played a bunch of them, but Fuser was like the one. And also I was a huge Guitar Hero and Rock Band nerd because I'm a music nerd. So like all of the rhythm game stuff, but Fuser is like my number one with a bullet DJ adjacent video game.
And that's Harmonix still.
Yes, correct. That was Harmonix.
I played that. Was Fuser? No, Fuser wasn't the card music game that they had. I think it was one that they had with like the app.
Oh yeah. So you're thinking of Drop Mix, and that was them. That was Harmonix.
That game is amazing.
Yeah.
I played it at my friend's house, and I was just like, "Oh, this is the hottest thing." And then they stopped doing it. I'm like, "Are you crazy?" It was amazing. I love Harmonix.
Yeah, Drop Mix was essentially the physical version of Fuser, because once Fuser came out, I had already played Drop Mix. I was like, "Oh, this is Drop Mix, but in digital form." And I'm bummed I never owned a copy of it, and it's really expensive now. But it was a brilliant game. Yeah, it operated like Fuser, except you could literally drop cards. It was really, as also a trading card sicko. It was just a really fun thing. Yeah, I love Drop Mix. It was great.
All right. Corey, how was your weekend outside of the
oh my gosh,
lawnmower?
It was fine. A lot of work, a lot of catching up on things. Plus, like my real life job is getting busier by the second, so I kind of was trying to catch up on stuff that's gonna happen this weekend, because I don't want to be behind. You know how it goes. It's just it's a lot to do, but it's okay. And then I don't know. I spent like 6 hours on this stupid lawnmower thing, and it's just annoying, man. But yeah, it was okay. We kind of hung out with the kids and had movie night last night, and I mean, movie night. It's the same 4 movies every weekend. So it's like Wish, Encanto, Toy Story, and Frozen are like the lineup.
I mean, there are worse movies to watch. Those are all. I haven't seen Wish, but the other 3 are pretty great movies.
Wish is it tries too hard.
I need to buy it and watch it.
Oh, it's fine. It's just fine. But yeah, I mean, look, Disney. It felt like Disney was really trying to make a cinematic universe out of all of their animated movies. That's like the B. That's like the B storyline, almost, or C storyline if you want to go that far. But it's fine. But I was one of those people who just didn't want to watch Frozen because it was cool to hate on Frozen. But Frozen 1 is actually a pretty good movie.
It is. I think the sequel's better, actually. I really like the sequel. Just because it's gayer, and that's a bit better. Like it's subtext in the first movie that Elsa is queer. It is text in the second movie. Like it's pretty, like, without saying it, because it's still Disney and they tiptoe around that stuff sometimes. But yeah, I mean, and the music, whether you like the music or not, it's well done music. Like and it's catchy for a reason.
It's so funny. I told Corey, I'm like, I feel like Frozen is the Mario style iconic legend for Disney with Frozen, because I worked at Toys R Us, and when that movie dropped just at theaters, I was selling costumes, dolls, just everything. And when it came out for Blu-ray, that movie was selling. Like, Disney was making money off of it. And they were just like, when people asked for any kind of birthday gift, the first thing they said was, do you have any Frozen merchandise? They didn't ask for anything else. Barbie was just still stacked with all of their toys. Frozen was always empty. We was always restocking that thing.
Barbie's old news.
Yeah.
And now,
I mean, not with the movie. Now I think it's like new news again,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, back then it was old news.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
Yes.
But yeah, my weekend was fine. I tried to, I'm really going through this gaming confusion where there are games I want to play. There are games I want to play for the shows, and then there are games that I am very behind on that I feel like I need to play. And then there's just too much choice.
I don't understand. Are you saying there are too many video games? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, we just had that discussion on the Boss Rush podcast actually about it. There are literally too many video games. And so I stare at my Switch list, turn it off, or turn on my PlayStation, look at the PlayStation Plus extra garbage, turn it off, look at Xbox. I still need to catch up on the Destiny stuff. And then I just turn it off and turn on YouTube and start working on other things because I get overwhelmed.
Yep.
And this restructured medication I'm on is supposed to help with the focus and trying to I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it's just not. It's fine. It's all good.
Well, with that, everybody, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we just want to make sure that that you guys take it easy. If you need to talk to someone, hopefully, I know it's gonna sound weird, but games can be therapy. If you need to play a game to help you relax, really just take care of your mental health. It's very important this month. We know that Hellblade 2 is coming out on Xbox. I'm definitely excited. If people may be affected by that, there is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and that game will help you out. That game is still funny. I don't care what anyone said. That game is so funny.
I forgot that game was even coming out.
I'm so excited for it.
I have no idea what month it is.
Yeah, it comes out this month. I love Super Mario RPG, and I played the remake that came out last year, and that one still makes me laugh too. But this one,
Mhm.
Thousand Year Doors, like when they hit the first Paper Mario is good. I really like it, but I really like Thousand Year Doors, like when they really hit their stride with the Paper Mario series, and then
Yes.
of course the Mario and Luigi games are still. I was replaying Superstar Saga a little bit last year. I didn't finish it, but that game still also makes me laugh. The writing in the Mario RPGs have been pretty top notch for a while.
Inside Bowser's story when King Koopa could suck up the lollipops from the
Yeah,
Goombas and they ran away crying. I threw my 3DS down and fell out laughing. I couldn't stop. Those games are so good and so funny. Uh, but everybody, we're gonna get into the show. We're gonna actually just before we do that, everybody, we got some housekeeping. And if you want to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get our supplemental show Expansion Pass 2 weeks early and ad-free and other perks like early access to other podcasts, voting rights, and more at the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. And everybody, you already know what time it is. It's time for Nintendo! Yes! And Corey, I'm going to start with you. What have you been snacking on?
Oh man, dude? I smashed a whole thing of M&Ms before we started the show tonight. Here's the thing: I've moved from eating. So, f- for those who don't know, if this is your first time here, hello, hi, hey. I've been trying to lose a lot of weight since July, and I have been on this kind of strict-ish diet during the week, and then Saturdays I give myself, a meal to eat whatever I want, or 2 meals to eat whatever I want. Since I hit the second major milestone, I have given myself a snack option on Sundays. So I was like, I'm smashing these M&Ms before the show, and it was one of those share size bags, like you, you know
Yeah.
they have the fun
those
size
aren't
and then
really
the normal
share
size.
size. I don't care
No,
what they say.
no, they're not.
That's for one person. Get
Three
out of here.
servings in that bag for who? A mouse? Jeez. So I smashed some M&Ms, and we had Chipotle yesterday, which was pretty good because they brought back the chicken al pastor, and I don't know, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. They put way too much. Don't yell at me. They put way too much cheese on my burrito to the point where it was like cold.
No such thing. No such thing as too
Oh,
much
wow.
cheese. And I say that as a lactose intolerant person. There's no such thing as too much cheese.
But that's it. That's kind of what I've been snacking on. Also, I've found this really weird soft spot for the vanilla sandwich cookies, like the reverse Oreos, but
Yeah, sure.
Ooh.
they're not really Oreos because we buy them from Aldi, so they're the vanilla sandwich cookies. But whatever, it's fine.
Oh, look, I'm big.
So I've found myself sneaking a couple of those once in a while, but you know,
Did you take
that's
2 cookies or 3?
3.
Okay.
I mean, it's better than a whole sleeve like I used to.
Ooh.
Like 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I've been really trying, Ed. Okay, I've been really
I'm
trying.
proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Um,
You know how proud I get of you.
I know, but you say things all the time that just makes me question why we're friends. So,
That's a whole different conversation.
oh, geez, we don't have time for that conversation.
Yes. Tune in expansion pass for that.
Oh,
no.
Years worth
Matt,
of expansion
what
passes.
have you been
That thing.
snacking on?
So I'm in my 40s, and my answers are really boring. I have so many dietary issues. I'm gluten free, and I'm lactose intolerant, and like it's just I can't eat a lot of sweets. My spouse and I don't really do well with sweets in the house, so we have this rule that like we do a lot of our shopping via Fresh Direct. It's just easier for the area we're in, but we're not allowed to buy junk food via the delivery. If we want junk food, we have to make a separate trip to the local supermarket or co-op and buy it. That way, like if you really want it, you got to go get it. You can't just have it come to you, which has been helpful. But I've also just been trying to, like, there was a time during the pandemic when I was downing an entire pint of ice cream at night. It was bad. Like,
Ooh.
and so like I had to stop doing that kind of stuff. And so mostly I've been snacking on like more healthy stuff, veggies. A big one for us in the house is bell peppers. We'll like, my spouse will slice them up and we'll just like the red, orange, and yellow ones, and so I'll snack on that. And then like for dessert, since I'm not trying to eat ice cream anymore, I think it's Outshine is the name of the brand. They do like these fruit bars that are made with real fruit, and so like lime and pineapple ones, so it's like eating a frozen pineapple, which is not bad. I don't really eat a ton of junk food. Like my sweet treat is like I made an Arnold Palmer, which is in my mug, which is just I took some Snapple and some local lemonade and just mixed it together. That's my sweet treat, is like having sugary drinks, because and then coffee is my vice. I drink coffee every day, multiple times a day. That's the only vice I won't give up. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that stuff, but I drink coffee every day. It's like that you'll have to pry from my cold dead hands, because it's the only vice I have left.
So 2 questions. What
Sure.
kind of Snapple is it? What flavor?
Just lemon. So it's the lemon Snapple and lemonade mixed together.
Oh, where did they start making lemon Snapple? I've never seen it.
So we buy it, like there's I think it's a 1.5 or 2 liter bottle they sell through the Fresh Direct grocery that we order from.
I wonder if it's exclusive, because like in my area, we got the like regular Snapple, apple, tropical, like fruit punch, and then we got like kiwi, strawberry, and then that's pretty much it. I just never seen it. Like not even the like zero flavor. I've never seen lemon. Oh wow! You already know I'm about to be on the hunt for that, right? Someone in the Wisconsin is going to carry it and everything. Okay, and now second question. With the coffee, do you put flavor in yours?
Yes,
or is
creamer. Always hazelnut.
Really?
Yeah. I sometimes French vanilla. I can't drink. I won't say I can't drink coffee black. When Jeff and I hang out in person, Jeff has much worse lactose intolerance than me, so they don't even have like dairy in the house. And so like, but he also will grind his own beans and stuff. So I'll usually just add a little bit of sugar, and it's fine. But my preference is light and sweet. So either some kind of flavored creamer or just, like whole milk and some sweet and low or whatever. That tends to be how I take it.
I like to do, I just found out that Starbucks during the holiday, they do their white chocolate peppermint creamer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anointings, full anointings. I brought that to work. My creamer was gone the next day. They were just like, "We're gonna have to buy you another one." I was just like, "Well, you're in luck. Target got them for 2 for $10, so you and I would get it." And I had everybody hooked for almost like a week and a half.
Amazing.
With that. Well, for me, everybody, of course, I had Taco Bell, which was really good.
I've been craving Taco Bell for so long, and I just
refuse
to get it, because if I go, I'll spend like $30 and I'll feel miserable afterwards.
Yeah.
Dude,
same. Like when I could still eat wheat, I would go to White Castle only like once a year, because I would just throw down for like 10 burgers, eat them all, and then feel miserable afterwards.
I was like, the cheeseburger White Castles be the bomb big late.
Oh, they're good. They're good. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but I had like a chicken quesadilla from Taco Bell that was just like, I love eating these. They soft tacos are still the best. I don't know why, but they soft shell tacos are still the best. Definitely with their chicken ones. I seen that my store is selling Eggo waffles milk as a drink, like special drink. I know. I just seen it, and then there's I seen like there's a Frosty Flake flavor, and yes, everybody, I'm going to get them. I have to try them so I could talk about them. I know, man, I know. But I got to get them so I could try them. But yeah, since I'm on a budget at the moment, since I don't got my debit card, I'm making the best out of it. I told Corey I got some Subway today, just a cold cut combo. And they chocolate chip cookies is just amazing still. Just like Subway's chocolate chip cookies. Mwah. That's pretty much what all I've been snacking on. And then of course I have my monster mango flavor. Love.
I'm
Just
very worried about your stomach, Edward. You know,
I
I know we make fun of it a lot on this show, but
mm,
I'm starting to become concerned about you.
I do a lot of lifting. I work out, do a lot of walking and running and picking stuff up, going upstairs, climbing ladders, and
Well, you
like
run now.
yes, I do run. I
What?
yes, I
Hmm.
run. I do. I
Running
do a.
across the street from work to Burger King does not count.
I don't have a Burger King. For us. Across us, I have to order Burger King. Now McDonald's, I could. Well, actually, no, I can't run to McDonald's. One place I could actually run to is Starbucks, and that's about it. And
Oh
most times, I'm the only one at my store, manager wise, so I can't run anywhere.
man.
So, but I get my exercise in and everything. So, well, everybody, it's time for us to talk about what we've been playing with. Playing with power. Matt, what have you been playing with power?
So a few things. A quick, because I feel like this is the only place it fits. When I was sick this week, I watched the Knuckles TV show, and like most of the hate is justified. It's not. I mean, especially if you like the two Sonic movies, which I do. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
campy and ridiculous and fun. This kind of falls short. Adam Pally is doing the best he can, and he's very funny. And Idris Elba is also doing the best he can with what they got. There are a couple really good episodes. The third episode focuses on Shabbat, which as a Jew was kind of fun to see on a TV show. But you know, and then the fourth episode is like a musical episode directed by Yorma from The Lonely Island, and like they wrote the music for it, and Michael Bolton's in it, and so like that was fun. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. It was fine, and things can be fine. And all of the fight scenes with Knuckles were still awesome, just like in the movie. So it was fine. If you don't have to watch it for consistency for this narrative. They're one like little thing that I don't really think will matter. But if you want to check it out, I think it's worth like just checking it out. If you got kids who liked the Sonic movies, they'll love it. It's goofy and ridiculous, like it's for them. But as an adult fan, I just thought it was okay. And so yeah, I watched that this week. Last week I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which ultimately I liked. The ending I'm still not sure how I feel about. I won't spoil it. I just thought it's just not what I expected. And I hated the open world BS. Like I like the expanding of the world. I like getting to spend more time with these characters. I liked getting to reunite with my boyfriend Vincent. Like all of that stuff was great. But like the open world Ubisoft softification of it all was like meh. Some folks I know really dig into it, and that's fine. I don't think it was it was average at best, but like the combat's still great, the story is great, the writing is great. I love these characters. They improved Yuffie and Kate Sith hand over fist from their original incarnations, made them actual characters with depth. But ultimately, like I loved Remake. I thought the direction it took, all of that stuff, without spoiling, was great. I think Rebirth gives me pause with what the third one will do. I'm still excited for it because I love 7, but this one didn't hit as hard as Remake. I think Remake is the superior of the two games. I played a little bit of Harold Halibut. Shout out to Pop Agenda for the code. It's really quirky and interesting. If you like Wallace and Gromit and that kind of like British dry humor stuff, it's following a lot in that footstep. It's got claymation. I didn't get very far. I think I only got about a half hour in, but I'm intrigued by it. I don't know when I'll get back to it because the main game I've been playing, I've been really absorbed in. And then quickly, while I was recovering from being sick, I blew through a playthrough of Super Mario Land. Listening to a recent episode of a podcast called Pixel Project Radio, which I've guested on and is a really great like book club style video game show. They did an episode on the main 3 Super Mario Land games, so 1 and 2, and then Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land, which are some of my favorite Game Boy games. And so I was like, I should replay. I play so Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. I really love it. I've been playing it since I was a kid. Can get through it in a couple hours. It's still got my favorite world in any Mario game, which is the Mario Zone when you're in a giant mecha Mario. but I hadn't replayed the first one in a while because I just remembered how much I loved the second and third ones, and it holds up. It's very different from the original Super Mario Brothers. His movement's different. You have a bounce ball instead of a fire flower, all that stuff. But and side-scrolling shoot 'em up sections, which
Mm-hmm.
was ridiculous. But I got through it in a couple hours, and it was still a blast. Save states saved my ass though. I played it on the Analog Pocket, which I love my Analog Pocket, and like without save states, it would have taken me twice as long to finish, which I acknowledge streamlined to my playthrough. But I've played it before, and beaten it before, so I feel like I earned that right to to make it easier on myself. And it was great to revisit. The music still absolutely slaps. Like it's very basic, but I love those compositions. They're great. Um, big Super Mario Land fan. But the game that I've been playing the most this week, I started it. When did I start it? I think about a week ago. Another Crab's Treasure, which I also got a review
Ooh,
code for.
ah.
I am a recent convert to tolerating Souls likes. I played Dark Souls 3 on PC with some mods that gave me damage resistance. It still took me forever to finish, but I enjoyed it because of the crunchy combat. And so then, of course, when Elden Ring came out, I reluctantly bought it. Took me a while to finish and a lot of help from my friends online, but I did finish that as well. And so, like, I've dabbled in Bloodborne and, like, I tried the demo of Lies of P, and I was like, all right, I'll give another Crab's Treasure a shot when it comes out. And I was lucky enough to get a code. I believe that's a Pop Agenda joint as well. And I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm playing it on PC. I started it on Steam Deck, but actually wanted my Xbox controller for like this is a precise Souls likes need such precise control and
Mhm.
dodge, and so the Steam Deck is just a little clunky for that. It felt, but it runs like a dream. It's a lot of fun. The humor is quirky and kind of irreverent. For those who don't know, you play as this crab who gets his shell repossessed, and so you have to go get it back. And throughout the game, you find different objects on the ocean floor that you substitute as your armor for your shell, and then you have a little metal fork to fight with. And it's other than that, it's a Souls like block, dodge, parry, chunky combat. It's really fun. I really like it. The voice acting is charming. The world is charming. In one of the major cities you get to, the walkways are a giant CVS receipt, which was really funny.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm really digging it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think and most importantly, it has accessibility options, which is what I really love about it. So there's an assist mode menu that they say that if you really want to experience the game the way that they designed it, you don't have to, you shouldn't use this, you should try. But if you need help, please use these options. So it was a very amicable way of putting in the game. And there's stuff like improving your damage resistance, improving your damage, lowering them enemies' health bars, slowing down the game altogether, improving the dodge window, invincibility frames, increasing the parry window. And then the last option, which I think is really funny, is you can just give Krill a gun. And what that does is it spawns a gun in the game as your shell, and your special ability is you fire the gun and it one shots any boss. And like they made it as a joke originally, and they're like, well, let's put that in release. And so if you want to just streamline through the game, like just to see the story, you can just give your character a gun and one shot every boss. And I think that's amazing. I used it on one boss just to feel something. And it's great. But it's a really fun game. I think if you've been on the fence about picking it up or looking for an introductory game to the Souls kind of oeuvre that allows you to tailor the difficulty to what is comfortable for you, because even with I'm using some of those accessibility options, I still die on bosses multiple times because it's health and damage reduction is not the only thing you need to know for these boss battles. And so it's been really fun. I think I'm like halfway through it. I hope to finish it, but I did just get code for another game that I'm excited for that we previewed in our PAX episode, Heading Out, which was at PAX, which is this like narrative driving racing game. And so I'm probably gonna play a bunch of that. But yeah, Another Crab's Treasure is great. And if you've been thinking about picking up, I hear it runs great on Switch too. So definitely worth
Yeah.
checking out.
We were talking to at PAX. What game was that, Corey? That me and you was playing.
Robots at Midnight.
Robots at Midnight, and we were talking to the co-founder of that company, and I mentioned to him like how do you take stylized action players into like this kind of genre. Like, and he told us like all the accessibilities and being patient and take time. It was a really good discussion, and I gotta get my mindset into that because it's
Yeah.
hard when you're playing like DMC, Devil May Cry, and Bayonetta, and
Yeah.
all that fast paced stuff. Because what happens to me is just like if I play a Souls game and I try to dodge, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
do I have that slow time mechanic? And now can I do my 16 hit combo? No, I can't. If I do, my body is all the way at the wall and I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I love stylish action combat games. Hi-Fi Rush is one of my favorite games last year. I love the Bayonetta franchise. I love the Devil May Cry franchise, and it's an adjustment. Yeah, I played a lot of hack and slash games over the years, and trying to go into a Souls game, playing it like a hack and slash works a little bit in the beginning, and then you get bodied by the first boss. But I think it's still worth a shot, and I think because you like those stylish action combat games, I think starting with Another Crab's Treasure might be a good place for you, Edward, because of the accessibility options. Might allow you to, it won't play exactly like that, but you can kind of temper it so you can like feel it out, which I think is a really great thing that they're doing. This is Aggro Crab. Like I think giving those accessibility like I get why FromSoft doesn't want to, and that's fine. I'm not here to have that discussion. It's been talked to death, but I like that other games following in those footsteps are doing that, so at least it makes it available for other people to play.
I've written a banter and I see well editorial and saying that the Souls games are not hardcore games. If you want a hardcore game, go play Ghosts and Goblins. Go play and then like go play Resurrections and let's see how good you can do. And then
Right.
knowing that you have to do everything over with one special weapon, oh, that's
Ridiculous.
hardcore that you could beat. Our friend LeBron, he's beaten the Ghosts and Goblin games, and I was just like, see, that makes you a
Couldn't be me.
hardcore player.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Corey, what have you been playing with power, maintaining with power?
Yeah, so we were talking about Final Fantasy VII earlier. I have been playing the original Final Fantasy VII because I had
Nice.
never played it until this year. Like here's my short history at the beginning of Final Fantasy for me. I was really excited for 10 because I saw it in, I don't know, Game Pro or one of those thousands of magazines I used to get every year. So I was like, oh, I'm going to play 9 before I play 10. And so what I did was I played 9. And as I was playing through 9, I went and bought 7 and 8, which Black Label 7 and 8 were $6.99 and $9.99 at the time.
Oh yeah, super awesome. Cheap back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I bought those and I played 9, and then I played through 10, and then I went back to 8 and played through 8. And by the time I got to 7, I was like JRPG'd out.
Yeah.
And I just basic quality of life things with at least 9 and 10, like going back to 7 was just not in the cards for me. So I just never played it. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to accept that I'm not going to play this right now. And then I never went back. But when they announced the remake, I was like, oh man, that looks cool. I kind of want to play it. And I was like, I'll get to it at some point. And because like not playing it, wasn't hyped for it. I was just like, oh, it looks like a fun game. I'll play it at some point. And then when people started figuring out or talking about like, oh, this is only like from this point to this point and things are changing. And I was like, and then people started saying, well, it'll mean more if you play the original before you play that. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. I ended up buying 7 on Switch for cheap, and then it just sat on my system for a while. I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. And then obviously when Rebirth came out, I was like, I gotta get on this train at some point. And so with that said, I have just exited the area where there's this giant telescope, and you're in this floating old guy is like telling you about Red 13's past. Yeah,
good stuff.
And I'm like, okay, you're strange, but okay. Red 13's real name isn't Red 13. Spoiler. Nope. And so I'm in these caverns right now, trying to make my way through these caverns. And so that's where I'm at. It's I'm really struggling to play just play the game. And I really like the characters. I really love the story they're telling. I really think, this cheesy classic 90s kind of writing and storytelling is really interesting and fun, and obviously Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, like that kind of dynamic is
Yeah.
fun. It's just the actual act of playing the game, and I told myself I was not going to turn on the speed, like this the stuff that you could just blow through the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm about to do that because it's just playing the game is like, oh
That's
my
that.
gosh.
That's how I got through 9. I hated 9 on the PlayStation because I was a gritty idiot growing up, and like I was like, 7 is so dark. Oh, why does this cartoon crap? That'll bite me in the ass several times for the rest of my life. It's why I still never played Wind Waker. It's why it took me forever to play Metroid Prime, because I was a stubborn brat. But with 9, when I played it on the Switch, I used some of that stuff, because towards the end of the game, it's like the fights got really hard. I wasn't leveled enough, and I was like, look, I just want to see the story. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think especially if you really are enjoying the story of 7, then get through the combat. I love turn-based combat, but that game is particularly dated in a lot of ways that I feel like timed hits and other stuff isn't. And so
Yeah.
like wanting to speed through it, I totally get it.
Yeah, it's
Thank God for that turbo mode. Trust me.
It's not the turn-based combat itself that's turning me off. It's like I
Right.
was going through this one part, and I just let me back up a little bit. I had just started, and it was a night where I just kind of had time to finally sit down and play a game, and I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to do some progress. I'm going to get a good 3 hours of progress in here. I start playing through the game, and I'm getting far. I'm getting these cool story beats. I'm getting, I'm buying materia, and I'm buying these cool weapons that I like, man, I'm going to get strong. I'm going to have this cool material. I'm going to go, customize my characters. I sit there and like meticulously put the materia in the weapons and in the armor and everything. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. I go outside. There's this giant, like, worm dragon thing in the middle of the thing, and I just die.
Ugh.
I get like 2-shotted, and I'm like, well, I just lost an hour and a half of progress. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm just like, man, the convenience of just saving a game whenever you want, or whenever a game auto saves at a checkpoint. So but yeah, that's my story with Final Fantasy VII. I'm gonna try to finish it by next week, because I know everybody on this show is really tired of hearing me talk about that, and they want to hear about some Nintendo games, especially new ones.
Yeah. That's why we say be thankful that y'all playing Final Fantasy now and not the PlayStation 1 version, because when your memory card got destroyed or messed up, if you was using a third party, all that progress was gone.
Yeah. But I also like, I started playing Stellar Blade. I downloaded the demo because I'm still on the fence of like, is this really a game I'm gonna want to play? And it's a little slow. I don't mind the combat. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's deliberately animated. I'm like, okay, so what? That's how they wanted it. Who cares? But it's a little slow. I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm at that point where like I'm not sure if I'm enjoying it or not, and I just feel like I need to push through a little bit further to really see. But it's a beautiful game, and I'm not just talking about the lady parts. Okay, I mean like generally it's a really good looking game. It kind of reminds me of like the era of PS2 games where there was just like a character action game coming out every couple months, and you're like, oh,
Right.
that looks fun, let's jump into that. And I mean that in like the best way possible, where like it just feels like an old timey game that I used to love, and I'm just like hoping that I can push through this little slow part where things start picking up. But
Stellar
so
Blade is
that's
such a fascinating thing. I don't know, someone who like was growing up in the Bayonetta, the early days of Bayonetta, which I think also got some similar pushback, but like you play 5 minutes of Bayonetta, you realize her being sexy is a thing of empowerment, and they don't really
Mm-hmm.
like the men who got ogle her, she beats the crap out of. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played Stellar Blade, so I can't see. I as far as I know, it takes it pretty seriously. There's not a lot of tongue in cheek stuff, but I don't know. Like, of course, shouldn't treat women as objects, but also women are allowed to be sexy in games. Men are allowed to be sexy in games. Non-binary people are allowed to be sexy in games. I don't know. I worked for many years in the burlesque scene in New York, and so saw a lot of naked people of all kinds, and like got kind of desensitized to the oh my goodness, naked people. Like, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. I mean, our country has a whole other history of problems with sexuality and all that. Anyway, but like, I don't know. I
You
haven't
could have
played
just
Stellar
not been
Blade.
problems.
Yeah, right. But like, I just, it felt like a lot of the hubbub was unnecessary. But again, I haven't played it. I hadn't really followed it too closely. It just feels like people are being upset about it being sexy because it was sexy,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
It's funny that you mentioned Bayonetta, because when Bayonetta 2 came out, this wasn't the conversation that we was having. It
Right.
was pretty much like women, like sexism and all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
then now you see it instead of Blade, it's just like, well, they took all the sexiness from the trailers. We need to put wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Hold on. First of all, y'all was upset that Bayonetta 2 was exclusive to Wii U, so y'all made us think about that, and then the game comes out, she becomes an icon and legend, and people love the game, and now y'all want to talk about sexism and all of this. It's so weird.
Right.
Game's weird, man. Or people are weird about games. You know what it actually reminds me of a little bit, actually, and which is why I'm really intrigued to keep going, is Nier.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'd heard that comparatively it plays kind of similarly. I started Nier Automata on stream many years ago.
Love
Got
that game.
got the first ending by dying in the shoot 'em up section at the beginning, which I was
Me
very confused by, and I haven't gone back to it. I think because I keep hearing the Switch port runs really well, and I think I know I'll just enjoy it if I can sit with it on my own time. It was fun to stream, but like, I think I need to sit with it on my own time. I bought Replicant the last time it was on sale on Steam, and like, I hear they're incredible, but I haven't gotten back. And I love. I mean, we were talking about Bayonetta before, right? Like, I love Platinum games, so like, I want to play it. I haven't gotten through them yet. I have to get back to them. I mean, as we just discussed earlier, there are too many video games.
Yeah, my friend Chris, he's playing Astral Chain right now, and like he's streaming it, and he was just like, "This game is gorgeous." I'm like, "Yeah." Like Platinum Games, I think a lot of people don't understand. Platinum Games work so well with Nintendo.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
and whatever you want to say about Star Fox Zero, go ahead and say about it. But I'm like, when they make a game for Nintendo, they do not play around. Those games are amazing, and Nitty's just like, you on our dime, so we need to make sure that this quality is good to go.
So yeah, but that's all I'm playing for now. I've got some time coming up this week, finally, actually, and fingers crossed, we are building the social media team out, and some of them want to edit video, and God help me if somebody wants to edit these podcasts. Anyways, continue. I'm just like, I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, please somebody help.
Trust me, if I get like a million texts from Corey, I know something good has happened. Well, for me, everybody, before I get into what I've been playing, I want to show you guys that I ordered the Coffee Talk
nice.
collection. This is Coffee Talk 2. Best Buy had it for $80.
Wow. That's awesome.
Last week. Yeah, so I snagged it before I canceled my card. It comes with the physical game, soundtrack, download code, sticker sheet, a tea towel, acrylic standard, memo pad, double-sided tote bag, wooden charm, and mini comics collection. So
nice.
I've never got to play episode 2.
Amazing. It's phenomenal. I love both Coffee Talk games.
Mm-hmm.
I love visual novels, and I think they're two of the best. We actually have both of them covered on SideQuest by the same person, Keith, and fellow podcaster on our network. And yeah, they are. If you did you like the first one, Ed?
Oh, I loved it. We did a Talk the Walk on it. So Talk
Oh,
the Walk
nice.
used to be our discussion show for walking games.
Oh,
And
nice.
we had a big we just had a great talk about it, and our friend Celeste, she actually got to interview the creator of Coffee
Oh,
Talk
amazing.
um months before he passed and
Yeah,
everything. But yeah, I loved it. Like just getting the coffee, the vibes was really chill with the music,
yeah.
but it was just so much great writing in there,
Mhm.
and it hits home on a lot of things. Like I stood back and was just like, how does an indie game do this? And I got it on Xbox, so I got to go back to it, but I cannot wait to start part 2. I'm
Cool.
so ready for
I
it.
can't wait to hear what you think. Yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was really well done. It builds on the relationships from the first one. The new character is really great,
Mhm.
and the music, of course, is great. Yeah, I'm glad. That's awesome. The collector's edition looked really cool, so I'm excited to hear
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Yeah. For Switch, I just finished Joe and Mac on NSO. I never got to
Nice,
play it when it
love
came out
that
for
game.
Super Nintendo. Yeah. Uh I'm playing Azure Saga Pathfinder. It's an RPG from Toge Productions. Um it's okay. It's a really good one. I gotta take time to kind of like learn the systems and see if how I could grind in the game. Once I learn that, I'll be good to go. For Xbox, I'm close to the end of Far Cry 3, so I'm going to finish that up. I just restarted Quantum Break because I want to try to get everything in that game. And I've just been in the mood. I've been in the mood to play that game. Um, and just like, man, this is this was kind of the start of Remedy that I started to love them more and everything. Before Control had me like, yeah, this is what Remedy should be doing. There's some problems with Control, but like I kind of started noticing when Remedy are really in their bag making some great games, they really in their bag and everything.
I became a Remedy diehard over the last few years. I had never played Alan Wake, and then I bought Control when it was on sale years after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Fell in love with it. I'm an X-Files sicko, so like it had said that same vibe. Fell in love with it. Loved that game. Loved the combat. Loved the
That
storytelling.
Ultimate Edition of Series
Uh,
X, oh, anointings. That
yeah.
thing is so better than the original version of Control.
And so I fell in love with it, and then I streamed all of Alan Wake 1 on PC
Mhm.
after that because I heard they were connected. And so then when Alan Wake 2 came out, even though I'm a coward and I've slowly come out of my shell on horror games and played more of them, but I played Alan Wake 2, absolutely loved it. And so now I'm in on the Remedyverse. I played Max Payne 1 for the first time on my Steam
Mhm.
Deck through legal means. Um, uh for the first time last year. I finished at the beginning of this year, loved it. Also such a trip knowing Sam Lake in the oeuvre for as long as I have, and then seeing him
Yeah.
as Max Payne. But yeah, no, I've become a huge Remedy head. I want to play through Max Payne 2 and 3 this year, even though
Can can I
3 I know
Max
3 isn't by Remedy, but I want to play the whole trilogy.
Max Payne 3
Yeah.
is like the best. I love that game.
But no,
And
you love the way Max Payne looks in that game.
oh,
I'm not sure
he
you
is
really like the game.
when he cut his hair and that beard, he's the sexiest person. I'm just like, oh, these, ooh, one
Here for
up,
that.
one up start coming out. I started lifting hearts like Link, and I was just like, yeah, he is hot. I'm just saying.
Nice. Yeah, but I love Remedy stuff, and I'm excited for Control 2. I can't decide whether I want to know nothing about it or everything about it, because it's one of those
Mhm.
kind of games. Like, I know knowing nothing going to the first Control was a huge benefit, I feel like. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Remedy is doing some of the best work they've ever done, and I'm excited for their future.
As long as Control 2 continues to play like Contra, I'll be good to go. Because literally, if you play Control and you once you get the shotgun and you learn how to do
Yeah.
everything, it plays like Contra. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to be moving always.
Yeah.
Man, I started playing that thing like Contra. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get through this game quickly and everything. But yeah, that's what I've been playing with Power, and also I'm playing Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. I'm on the last part of the case, so once I finish that, I'll be done with the game. And like I said, Hellblade 2 I'll be getting, and Paper Mario I'll definitely be getting. I got Bomber Cyberpunk, so I'm gonna also be starting that too. I'm super excited for that. Yeah, and Sandland. I gotta install Sandland for Series X and start that too. I'm about to be juggling about 7 games because I need to get all of that done before Destiny and Visions of Mana. Because like once those two drop,
You're not
it's
playing Destiny. You've been
oh,
saying that
I'm
for the
playing.
last 4
Oh,
years.
Corey, I'm going to be playing Destiny. I already, man, that, like I said, that trailer, which I still got to see the new one. That trailer that you sent me is just makes that game looks gorgeous. And I played it on Series X, and man, this is what I needed Destiny to be when it came out. It feels so fun with the frame rate being like 60 frames or 120 or whatever. That frame rate being fast, man, that game feels so good and everything. So yeah, I'm going to be, I'm going to be. Look, I didn't spend $100 not for that game to be sitting on my system. I'm going to be playing Destiny. You're gonna have to remind me of the names and stuff, but I'm going to be playing Destiny.
Nope,
And everything.
this is you chose this life. You're gonna have to figure it out yourself.
I can't
well,
do it. I can't come back for Destiny. Like, so I came back when was Corey? When did Stasis come out? That was in
Beyond Light. So that was
Beyond Light.
Let's see, Lightfall last year.
So I played Beyond Light, and I did the Stasis missions and loved that power set. And then when the Witch Queen was coming out, I was gonna play, and then I fell off and never played it. And so like now seeing the final shape, I'm like, I want to like I like this. I like Destiny 1, played through the Tekken King. I played Destiny 2 at launch, loved it, and then fell off, and then came back, and then was on and off like a lot of folks throughout its run. But like
did you do it on PC with Destiny 2?
So I played on PC
with
and
the
like
Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tried the demo of Destiny 2 on PlayStation 2 because PlayStation 4 because I had the PlayStation version of Destiny. Yeah. Man, that thing cramped my hand. I was just like, oh no. I played Destiny 2 on the Xbox One, a big difference. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm staying with Destiny on Xbox full on.
Yeah, and like I keep thinking about coming back from the final shape, but I think what I'm really just gonna do is watch the cutscenes. They'll be on YouTube after a month, and like I'll see how the story ends. Because like I liked most of the narrative. I like the characters. Like, Zavala is one of my favorites. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the voice actor who passed away.
Lance Reddick.
Yeah, Lance Reddick, who I love. And is a brilliant voice actor, and I miss dearly. Like his Zavala was incredible, and I was a Titan, so like when he passed and they did that like tribute to him, I did sign on my Titan and like take a photo and stuff. Like, and to hear that Keith David was taking over was like, well, if you were going to hire another incredible black voice actor to take over for Lance Reddick, literally he's the only person, Keith David is, that I would think could do it. And it was cool to see that he wanted to, and like he knew Lance, and like, so that's fun. But yeah, I'll probably just watch the cutscenes. But who knows? Maybe if it's on a sale, I'll pick it up to see the ending, because I love Destiny 2 still has the best gunplay in all the video games, just like Halo did, right? Like it always did, and it's some of the best combat. There's some other good shooters too, but there's something about the Halo style shooting, like that control, that I really love.
Because I was gonna say Titanfall 2 and Metroid
Prime. Yeah, actually, you know what? Second best. Titanfall 2. I played it for the first time last year, and like that game blew me away. I couldn't, like, people kept saying for years it was so good, and I was like, oh, is it? And then I played it, I was like, no, yeah, it's the best shooting game ever made.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's fine.
Corey's like, yeah, it's fine.
Hey, Corey, you got some Destiny love on the show.
I know. I think this is the first time I'm the one that didn't talk the most about Destiny. Yeah, no. I've been just to kind of wrap up this section of the show, I guess. I think I've kind of decided that the final shape is going to be my exit ramp off of Destiny. Like I'm still going to pay attention to what's going on and stuff, but like it's just so hard to keep up with at this point. And you know, it's probably time. I really love I love the characters. I love the lore. I love the setting and everything.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's been like most of my. I mean, what 10 years? It's just been so involved in my life in every aspect. I mean, I have like a ton of ghosts and statues back there of Destiny. I have all the lore books. I have the collector's editions, and it's like I've invested a lot of time and money in this. And if I don't jump off now, it's just gonna, you know, I can't keep going. I can't keep going. So, yeah. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.
Well, everybody, it's time for Family News. Corey, take it away.
All right, finally, after way too long, Family News, everybody. Let's get into our first story. Take-Two closes Intercept Games, which is the developer of Kerbal Space Program 2, and Roll7, the developers of Ollie Ollie and Rollerdrome, during its restructuring of Private Division. If you didn't know, Private Division is their kind of sub-brand that promotes smaller games and kind of publishes obviously stuff like Kerbal Space Program that, obviously maybe the GTA audience wouldn't really be into, but these smaller games a lot of have smaller communities and everything. And yeah, I think from what I read later on, most of Private Division is actually gone, like the entire entity, which is stupid because Take-Two makes so much money that you can't just keep these smaller publishers. I don't know, man. It's I am really tired of these publishers kneeling to the shareholders instead of doing good things.
Yeah.
So Matt, I'm going your way first. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm bummed, right? We've had more layoffs in 4 months than all of last year, and it hasn't slowed down and exponentially now. Like we had cleared it like 2 months ago, and now I think it's like double or something. I may be pulling that number out of my ass, but like it's a bummer. Like I bought Ollie Ollie World last year on recommendation. I still haven't played it yet, but I have it sitting on my Switch, and it's actually on my short list to play. It's supposed to be very good. It's like a action platformer skateboarding game, which sounds really dope. And like they had made other Ollie Ollie games, and I heard they were all really like well loved. And it's just, and Rollerdrome, I had heard really good things about last year. Kerbal Space Program has been around forever, and I think the sequel did come out. Was supposed to come out, or just recently came out, or something.
I think it wasn't early access for a while.
Yeah.
I think it just came out.
But like it's just
Last year?
it's a bummer. Like, yeah, I mean, what I don't know how to run a company, so what do I know? But it just feels exhausting at this point. Like every time we log on in the morning, another company has had massive layoffs, and I just like, it's one thing if, like, look, a lot of companies go through layoffs and like it, whatever. I can't speak to the business side of it, but it just feels like I don't know how the game industry recovers from this, because we expanded so rapidly during pandemic. But apparently folks have been saying even before the pandemic that like it was trending this way. And when the layoffs started to happen, like it's just not surprising to some folks, but it still sucks. There's nowhere for these people to go. Every studio is laying folks off. Major companies. I think Capcom is the only one actually increasing base pay and like growing, but like a lot of other companies are just laying off folks left and right. It's just a bummer. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's
pretty much unless these folks move to Japan and see if they get hired by Nintendo, that's pretty much it. Because
and even Nintendo, like they were laying off contractors and stuff. Like it's not like it's just it feels like nowhere is safe. Like you're totally right, but like it feels like nowhere is safe anymore, which is such a bummer.
Yeah, it's tough out there. I feel for a lot of these people, and hopefully, like what we were kind of talking about with these layoffs, like I hope a lot of these people find jobs within smaller teams that will grow to eventually become the new normal, which will be like, they don't have to bow down to shareholders or appease the shareholders. They can just, do make games, sell games, hopefully make enough money to, you know, pay their employees and fund the next game and stay open for business, and then just keep moving forward like that, and not have to like, it's just, oh man, it's
It's pretty much going indie, still doing Kickstarter, or other crowdfunding stuff. Like it, that feels like what the industry is going to, in a certain way, kind of become in the future if things keep going this route. So we are going to be getting more games, but it's gonna kind of feel like, is the change gonna be less triple A games, sequel triple A games, and more indie games? Because once like indie started getting talking about, like the triple A space is gonna be in trouble. We kind of did it for 2 years just during the Switch, where we were talking about more not triple A, we were talking about more indie games than we were talking about big triple A on any console. I mean, like, man, when we was talking about like Dead Cells, Hollow Knight, like stuff like that, Hades, we was talking about all of these indie games, and we was barely talking anything about Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War, or Uncharted 4. Like we weren't really talking about that stuff. It was all of those indie games for a good while. I was telling Corey that like just last year, this was the first time that in a while we were literally talking about triple A games and barely any indies. Unless you
Yeah.
kind of were on PC and you were in the indie scene, like indies were really nowhere to be found in 2023. Now with all of these layoffs happen, indies literally have a chance to make a comeback and run the industry for it.
Yeah,
So
I think part of the problem here is also the development cycle is so long. Like I was talking on my show about, we did an Xbox 360 retrospective, and like I talked about the Mass Effect trilogy, 3 games on one console is
mhm,
unheard of now.
mhm.
Spider-Man 2018, then it was for the PS5, Spider-Man 2, right? Like Miles Morales was in between, it was the kind of middle child, but like most games don't get their sequel to that. I mean, look at Horizon, right? Pretty much every major Sony franchise, 1 game per console generation. And that's like Insomniac had layoffs, and they had one of the most successful games last year.
mhm,
Like
Mhm.
it's just, I don't think there's a logical route anymore. Like I hope indies build up. I mean, there were a ton of great indies last year, but I hear what you're saying. Like AAA games were at the forefront last year in a way that they weren't during some of the height of the pandemic, right? A lot of smaller games got to step forward. I hope that we get more indie games as a result of this, but also like all of it takes funding and financing, and nobody has faith in funding games right now. Like that's a lot of what it is the fun. Like the people who have the money want safe bets, but safe bets aren't do like that's not the thing, right? Hades 2 is such an exception. I'm so glad we're getting a sequel to Hades. I love the
mhm.
first game, but Supergiant has never done a sequel ever to one of their
Yeah,
games. And so like that's also a huge like shift in the indie scene. And so yeah, who knows, right?
I think like I always go back to 2019 for let's just with Nintendo, where there was a balance of big first party games, triple A games, and indie games, all being on Switch alone, all making money. Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain, Link's Awakening, but then you had like um Dragon Quest 11 on Switch, and just like all of these other games, and they were all on Nintendo, and it was just showcasing, yeah, you can have big games and small games and still make money. You don't need, well, for some people, you want to go for the cinematic experience, but sometimes. people just want to play a game. They don't want to be like, I'm spending $70 for a game that's going to be 95, or I should say 65% cutscenes and then 45% games, 35% game. You know, people were just like, I want to play a game. I could deal with the narrative if it's done right, but I rather play a game. And if you want to do a double A game, it's okay. Hi-Fi Rush is a good example. Like, it's not triple A and it's a first party game. But it did enough for people to talk about and enjoy it. It threw you into action. You learned the combat. It was fun. It was funny. Great writing. The team wasn't too big to make it. Like, it was a hit for Bethesda and for Xbox. And if that's the stuff that people are looking forward for, why not? Why not
Yeah.
go there? So, like, definitely with this Take Two news, it really is sad. And Adi Adi is a great series. So, you know, I really do hope those developers do find a new place or make
Mhm.
their own studio and people support them.
Yeah, I mean, even the next story, like while we're on this subject, I guess,
Hmm.
Paladin Studios, the studio behind the game Good Job, among other games, which I really loved, Good Job, is closing its doors after 19 years. Um, the quote here is, "We unfortunately failed to land enough work to cover our burn rate. Yesterday, we hit an inflection point for our financial security. Going further with the current outlook would have been an irresponsible decision that would have likely caused insolvency. We have therefore taken this step to ensure a proper winding down where all employees are given proper severance and the studio remains debt free." Studio opened in 2005. They're based in the Netherlands, so uh, it's this makes me sad too, because Good Job was a really great
Yeah.
puzzle game on the Switch.
Yeah, and they've been around for ages. Like, I loved Cut the Rope back in the early mobile game days. Like, Cut the
Yeah,
Rope was a favorite of mine, and like, yeah, and like
yeah,
they did the port of the Amazing Katamari and the Galaga Wars. Like, they did some cool mobile stuff. Such a bummer. Yeah, they've been around for ages. For like 19 years is nothing to sneeze at, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
but it's still also like their baby, compared to other studios. It's sad.
yeah. I hate seeing stuff like this.
Yeah,
Man, so
When you can't, when you're a company who I guess they feel, I guess, I don't, this may not be true, like they sound like they was kind of like a work for hire, um maybe as a, because they said they work with Sony and Microsoft on some things. um it's kind of sad when a company can't get work for hire. uh it's really sad when you hear stuff like that.
mhm.
So yeah, like Corey said, Good Job is just such an amazing game, and it's funny as ever. Like, we seen it at the Nintendo Direct. I'm like, oh, we gotta have this because it was so funny. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So I hope everybody there lands on their feet. I'm glad they just. I mean, the silver lining, I guess, is that everybody's getting a proper severance, and
Hmm.
I mean, who knows what that looks like, but quote unquote. But at least they're trying to do something positive
yeah.
for this.
Yes.
So, uh, let's let's talk about something positive. Uh, the ESRB rating has been discovered for Nintendo World Championships NES Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Is this the NES remix that we've been looking for on the Nintendo Switch?
Is it gonna have the Super Mario Brothers 3 like stuff from the Wizard?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that'd be cool.
Would be neat. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not sure. Like, I guess does this mean they are re-releasing it? Are they going to
I,
sell it on the eShop? Is it coming
I
to the NSO? Like,
this to me sounds like a one of those. To me, this sounds like Tetris 99 or F-Zero 99, where
oh,
they release it if you're a subscriber and you just
yeah,
get
I
it.
hadn't thought of that. That could be fun.
Yeah, that seems like they're gonna try to add some multiplayer element to it and like
Yeah,
really do something with it, maybe, hopefully. but I think it's cool. I like this kind of stuff just from a historical perspective, and
Mhm. I,
Nintendo's history of preservation is questionable sometimes, to
Sure.
say the least.
and and I never know what game they played during the NES championship. Like EGM and them just never reported. So I always wondered how those tournaments went and who won and stuff. I just never had any information. That's why I made the wizard comment, because that was my only insight at when I was a young kid, especially with the guy saying Ninja Gaiden.
Mhm.
Like that was like my only insight, about the NES Championship Edition. So I wonder what games they're gonna have in it.
Yeah, I mean, how many years do the NES championships go on? I wonder if they're gonna separate it by year, almost like a Super Mario All Stars collection, where like, well, here's the
I mean,
1990.
yeah, it didn't go for very long, and
Yeah,
I know it's still not going on. I don't remember how long it went though.
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Uh,
Uh, you know what is gonna keep going, guys? Nintendo's theme park initiatives. I feel like this show we're gonna just have to add a entertainment section to the Nintendo show, because I mean, yeah, scraping the bottom of the barrel for game news. But speaking of barrels, Donkey Kong's roller coaster is opening with Universal Orlando, which is cool. I don't know if you guys saw the security footage that somebody put online of this about the with the minecart jumping part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Looks
It's
really
neat. I mean,
interesting.
yeah, I'm really excited to go to Super Nintendo World. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm good friends with Alex Van Aken over at Game Informer, and when he was in Japan, he got to go to the original, because the Japan one was the first one, and got to go on the rides
Right.
and stuff. And it just, like, you can do it in a couple hours, but it sounds like it's just super fun and dope. And I love Orlando, Universal Orlando anyway, and so yeah, I'm excited for this. I like some roller coasters as long as it doesn't like go loop to loop. I'm usually okay. And this sounds like it's going to be like like kind of like Runaway Train and those kinds
Mhm.
of like just like fast coasters, which could be fun.
Yeah, I was watching the footage. It actually doesn't look like a roller coaster at all. It just looks like a like like a Disney slow ride that jumps the track.
Yeah,
To
I
be
mean,
honest.
if I know that there's like a Mario Kart ride as well there, but yeah, I mean, I love Donkey Kong. I'm excited. I would love a new Donkey Kong Country Returns game. Like
Oh, that's coming.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
know it is, but like, I don't think it's coming out until we get the next Switch. But like, I love Tropical Freeze. I think since the original games, it's one of the best Donkey Kong game ever made. And
You may be
Yeah.
surprised during this Nintendo Direct in
hmm,
July.
all
I th-
right, well, I guess
I
we'll see.
think the first one's going to get an HD remaster this year. I just
I
have a
mean, I
weird
wouldn't be
feeling.
surprised. Yeah, I mean,
Um
it technically got one on the 3D. Well, sort of as a port on the
yeah.
3DS. That's how I played it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would buy it again. I'm a sucker. So
Yeah. I mean, aren't we all when it comes to Nintendo? Oh, stop releasing your games. Okay, I'll give you $60. Here we go. I mean, I was telling Ed, like, the GameCube. We've been talking about this for
Yeah.
years, but the GameCube is ripe for HD remasters, and then
yeah,
Nintendo has secretly been doing it this entire generation,
yeah.
and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. I just want that Wind Waker HD port because I never played Wind Waker and I didn't have a Wii U, and so I want them to port that to Switch. It's literally one of the only Wii U games they haven't ported first party, and so like I don't know what
Mhm.
they're waiting for at this point.
Yeah, my
That
Wii
is
U's hooked up. My Wii U's hooked up over there for 3 games. It's Wind Waker, it's Twilight Princess, and Xenoblade X
Nice.
are the
yes.
3 games that my Wii U is still hooked up for.
Yeah,
It still turns on. Oh my gosh, trying to play that after like these consoles with SSDs in it, and even the Switch, like the load times, trying to just like turn the thing on makes me want to. I could go make a sandwich, eat it, brush my teeth, and poop it out before this thing loads up again.
wow.
I'm telling you. I know
Yeah,
that's a
we're
lot of
all,
information at one time, but that's okay.
we're all ready for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
yeah.
For it. Like I said, I just want Eternal Darkness, Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
HDify that and give it to
please.
me. Trust me, I would twirl out this house off this podcast if they announce it and
Dang.
then twirl right back in.
Speaking of twirling, so if I was a female or dressed in women's clothing, the black milk range of Zelda clothing is it's pretty cool.
It is.
Not gonna lie to you.
It's
I would,
really nice. Yeah, I
man.
really like them a lot. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, man, women get some cool clothing. Man, I feel like this needs to be an after dark topic at one point, but we'll save that for later.
Which I had to ask you something after the show about that.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm concerned, but it's okay. I don't know. I just thought the collection looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be a true Nintendo show if we didn't talk about it. So I don't know if you guys have anything real to say about it. But
I mean, so there is some what looks like unisex stuff. Like there's a robe that looks like it could be for anyone. A couple jackets too that look really great. You know, I mean, gender's a construct, right? But you know, yeah, no, it's a great line. The jackets are really nice. The sizing might be a little funky, but yeah, it looks great. I mean, they have a Majora's Mask long sleeve shirt. That's dope. I don't even like Majora's Mask, and yet I think that's dope.
Oh man,
yeah, no, it's some really nice clothes. And like somewhat affordable too, which is always nice. You know, some designer stuff is just impossible to purchase or unaffordable,
and especially licensed stuff.
Yeah, but this stuff all looks for a good price and like has some good stuff. Yeah, definitely, I think worth checking out.
There's a black dress that I see with some black, I guess they're heels or boots or something, and the way that she looked from the back makes me think of the Resident Evil 1 movie. Like when she's in the red dress, like that's how it looks. But I love this, and I love the little go-go print kind of looking one with the white boots and the short skirt with the long sleeve. I'm like, oh yeah, that would to make a Zelda game look hippish.
Yeah,
it works so well. I've never thought of that. I'm like, this is so fashion forward. I love these. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a fan. Zelda movie, guys. We're moving on. The Zelda movie. My head hurts thinking about this movie. But the Zelda movie director says he'll, quote, be ambitious and, quote, keep the money on the screen. This is so the director's name, Wes Ball is he has currently, I think his most recent movie is the Planet of the Apes movie that's coming out soon, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
And he says, I know I'm going to get a ton of Zelda questions. Sorry to disappoint, but I can't say anything about it for now. Just that I love Zelda and I'll work my ass off to make something great for us. And then he says, the question was, what lessons learned from apes can you carry over to Zelda? And he says, keep the money on the screen, be ambitious, be confident in the talent around you, and try to do something great. So here's hoping.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I mean, I liked the Mario movie. It wasn't perfect. No, it was far from. But like the Koji Kondo assisted compositions were great. The needle drops were fun. And like, look, I am someone quick to make fun of Star-Lord like anybody else, but Chris Pratt did a decent job as Mario. The whole cast, I mean, you know, Jack Black stole the show, right? Like we all agree on that. Peaches was great. But like, it was a fun movie. It was a kid's movie and it was pretty basic, but I thought it was entertaining. And so like I have some optimism. I mean, like we haven't folks keep keep wanting to say that The Last of Us broke the video game curse. It's such nonsense. Like the Detective Pikachu movie was great. The Sonic movies have been fun. Like we've been here for a while. And so I'm optimistic about this. I also like that it's, you know, Wes Ball isn't a no-name actor. He's done some cool stuff, but he's not a Spielberg. He's not, you know, right? He's not this like universally known name. And so I'm excited to see him put his spin on this movie because at least it'll be something different. It's not, you know, it's not Illumination. It's not mass market. This could be something a little more ambitious than the Mario movie. We were never getting an ambitious Mario movie, right? It was going to be mass market for kids so they can sell action figures and a new game based on the movie, based on the game, whatever. This
Yeah.
I think has potential to be something really big. I just hope they don't go super dark with it. I like Dark Zelda, but I think ultimately Link has to be this force for good and positive and chivalrous, and like I like the direction of the newer games have been kind of darker.
Mhm.
But I would like this to be a more classic adventure if it could. We'll see. But I'm curious. I hope that it's a lot of practical effects and makeup. A Ganondorf that's like practical effects and makeup would be awesome. My vote is for Michael B. Jordan to play him. That's just me personally.
Really?
I think he'd do a great job as Ganon. Are you kidding?
Where I
Like as a
I
young Ganon, I think he'd be
so
great.
Yeah.
the thing about it is that I cannot make a cast for this movie.
I mean, it's tough.
Like,
I
I
find Link
I
is harder.
I here's the thing. I don't think Link needs to be in this movie. I think it should be a political movie between Hyrule and Ganondorf's rise from
I mean, that could be interesting too. Yeah, and like
and Florence.
bring Link
I
in
think,
the sequel and stuff. Yeah, like
and not that I'm like a huge fan or anything of her. I know she's a pretty decent actress, but like I think Florence Pugh
would be an excellent Zelda.
would be
I
an
agree.
excellent Zelda,
I agree. She's
especially if you
phenomenal.
want to go
it's
for like a not a damsel in distress, but like a powerful leader who can also pull her own in a fight. Like,
it
Yeah,
it's going to be a British cast. Like, you have no, or maybe Australian cast too. Like, you have literally no choice. Like, I'm sorry, Americans, but I don't feel like there's no Americans could be in this movie. If an American is in this movie, they're gonna play like the comic relief, like,
yeah,
and
Tingle.
stuff.
yeah. We need a
Jack Black
Tingle.
as Tingle.
Jack
Yeah.
Black as Tingle. Let's go.
uh,
I'm in.
I will say this. Shout out to Nintendo, because now this is the reason why I say shout out to Nintendo, because they are working with Sony to make this movie
Oh boy.
after the PlayStation debacle and everything. And Nintendo has also worked with Microsoft. So this literally shows you this is a different Nintendo. Like,
Yeah.
Nintendo trusts Sony to make the movies. They trust Microsoft to make games and work whatever that they can with. And I kind of love this business that they're doing
Yeah.
and stuff. How it all plays out, who knows? Like, I'm it's going to be a pack. Like, it's going to be packed. Like, if you don't pre-reserve once these tickets go on sale, you may not be able to see the movie for maybe a week and a half until I'm not talking about reviews and stuff, but I'm like, if this movie hits like 4 stars and everything, oh, this is another $1 billion movie by the end of that Sunday of a release.
Yeah,
Like,
I think people are just gonna go like gamers are gonna go see it just because it's Zelda, right? It
oh
doesn't
Yeah.
care
yeah,
if it's good or bad.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at Resident Evil. That thing's powered through so many bad movies, but people love it because it's Resident
Yeah.
Evil, right?
Well, and
it's
like I
the
said,
action.
like the Mario movie was not the best written movie ever, but it was entertaining, and people went to go see it. For folks
Mhm.
like our age, to little kids, and same with the Sonic movies, right? First Sonic movie was a huge hit, and I thought it was an okay movie. The sequel is great because they lean into the video game weirdness, but like they got to do that because there's this let people play in the space, and so I'm excited for the Zelda movie. I guess we'll see, but I'm trying to have high hopes for it.
Can we get the Zelda rap like done in a whole
Let's
video and stuff?
go.
Also, if somebody doesn't say "excuse me, princess" in this movie,
Right,
they're
exactly. Even
they're
as like excuse me, princess, but like
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, absolutely, I agree.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I know I'm in the minority. I don't want Link in this movie until the very end,
Interesting.
maybe.
I
Um,
I literally wonder if they're gonna make a Triforce, and I wonder who they're gonna go with to make the Master Sword, because I know it's gonna probably be a real life sword and everything, and I know Nintendo gonna be like, we need you to shut up about this and don't say
that's
nothing,
how
or we
that's
will
how they're
sue
gonna
you.
that's how they're gonna end it. They're gonna end that. I mean, if they're planning on this being a franchise and not just a one-off, right? They're gonna
Mhm.
end it with the Master Sword. Like in the Lost Woods, or like Zelda taking it there and either put it in the Temple of Time or in the Lost Woods or somewhere, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
think honestly, I think with the popularity of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, my guess is that they would lean into that storyline not necessarily, obviously not the art style since it's live action, but I think they would maybe lean into something like that, or adjacent to. But
My question is, are we going to see the queen of Zelda's mom? Because like if they do the shadow kind of figure thing, I'll be like, come on now.
no,
Y'all, we've been wanting to see this. We can't be seeing the king now. If the king looking hot, then yes, I don't mind. But if we
it's all
like
you want.
look, I need an iconic queen to play the mother of Zelda. Like if we're gonna not have Link, oh, Mother Zelda needs to be in this game. I mean, in this movie. Goodness. Like, she needs to be an icon and a legend. I mean, like, it can't be like Jennifer Lopez or anything like that. It's got to be like someone that we be like gagged over. You know, like if you're going to do it right. And if it gets nominated for like not a Grammy, that's the soundtrack.
Right.
If it gets nominated like for an Oscar and stuff, then I'll be like, yes.
All right. Well, that's it for news. I hope the Zelda movie's good. We could probably talk about it for another 3 hours and not get anywhere, but it's fine. Pack Watch. This is where we tell you the top games that are coming out for the week. Also, we use GameInformer.com/2024 to bring you these.
Hell yeah, let's go, Game Informer.
That site is
me.
bookmarked.
Trust, even before we was doing this, I was always checking Game Informer for like news and for release dates. So
Yeah.
like, oh, and I also gotta subscribe to the magazine because I know you guys have your own like subscription base, and I need to get back into it. I seen it, and I'm like, yes, they're buying no sales. They're not connected to GameStop, so I need to subscribe.
Saw it day one. If you love Game Informer and you want to support it and show GameStop that they are worthwhile as an independent publication, subscribe. Even if you don't read magazines, but you like Game Informer, like just subscribe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that was always my thing. Is like I was like, man, I love Game Informer and the Game Informer show and all that stuff, like replay, all that stuff. And it's like, man, if I could, I wish they were like independent and had a Patreon or like something, and like just, then like, I mean, I'm glad this
is it. This is it. This is all them. This is putting money in their pocket.
That Star Wars Outlaw cover.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah. I have to subscribe so I could get it because that mug is hot. Sorry everybody for the plugs, but like Game Informer is just like
who's sorry?
Oh goodness, trust me, the early 2000 Game Informer was and still is like.
Oh my God. I remember the God of War cover. I think it was the God of War. I guess it would have been the God of War 3 cover. Jeez, I'm old. It was awesome. I couldn't wait for God of War 3 because God of War 2 is like a top 5 game all time for me. But anyways, let's get into Pack Watch. Got distracted. Seed of Life is coming. Seed of Life is an epic adventure game about the persistence of life. You're Korra, the last known survivor of Lumia, a dying planet. Your only hope to save your homeworld is to activate the Seed of Life and rekindle the sun once again. Will you be the light that conquers the darkness?
Sounds cool.
On May 9th is Animal Well. Stephanie Klimov is currently playing that for review right now. That should be up. I mean, it might be up already. I think it went up today, actually. Animal Well is an upcoming Metroidvania video game developed by Shared Memory and published by Big Mode. The player controls a blob and explores a labyrinth filled with animals.
I'm excited to play this. I know Pat and Stephanie been talking about it. And this kind of like been on their radar. So I'm definitely gonna be picking this up.
Yeah. Billy Basso, I think he's coming on the show soon-ish. So yeah, you can stay tuned for that. He's a great guy. Met him at PAX. So
yeah, this is one of those games that everyone is excited for but me. And it's not because I don't think it's good. It's just there's so many other games, and my brain literally shunted this one to the side and went, I'll play it eventually. But it looks like I saw it at PAX. It looks great.
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks cool. I'm like you though. I'm like not super excited for it, but I know a lot of people are, and that's good enough for me. Especially a lot of people on our team are ecstatic for it. So uh, there's enough people for it to be exciting for, so I don't have to. Uh, Also on the 9th, Little Kitty Big City. You're a curious little kitty with a big personality on an adventure to find your way back home. Explore the city, make new friends and with stray animals, wear delightful hats, and leave more than a little chaos in your wake. After all, isn't that what cats do best?
Yeah, this one looks fun. I loved Little Gator Game. I think it was 2 years ago, a year ago. I don't know. Time is
Mm-hmm.
like, because it was just good, clean fun. It was goofy. It was fun. It was silly. It was cute. It wasn't particularly difficult. And this looks like another kind of game like that. I liked Stray well enough. I don't think it was the revelation that everyone else thought it was. I thought it was interesting. This looks like it'll be more my speed because it'll be less serious and doom and gloom.
Stephanie's gonna shun you forever.
but it looks cute. I've been watching this one for a while. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if I'll pick it up day one, but it's definitely something that I'll probably try and play before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I seen the Nini Direct last month,
Yeah.
yeah, when it was like I think that one of their first games that they showed, I was like, oh, this looks very interesting, and it really gives me that Stray vibes, and I enjoyed Stray. Um, I really can't wait to play this. This is probably a game that I'm going to wait for a little bit, because I have a lot of stuff to juggle. But it is a game that I am going to pick up.
Nice. So that's what's coming. Let's check it out. Obviously, we do this every week, so stay tuned for more. I can't wait to talk about Nintendo games when they're coming.
Eventually.
This feels like the Wii U days, Ed, just waiting on the next Nintendo game.
We're just still
Matt,
waiting for Mina to come.
For reference, the games Ed and I were talking about when we first started this show were what was it? Color Splash, Paper Mario Color Splash, and
Yes.
like the bad tennis game.
Yeah, Wii U is a dark time to start this podcast. I would say.
It was, and then we talked about Breath of the Wild for like 4 months, and half that time the Switch wasn't even out. So,
yeah.
I think we unboxed 3DSs on the show at one point just so we could talk about something.
Nice.
Yes.
Good times. Good times. You know what else is a good time? Question block. Remember, you can email the show at nintendopowblock@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord or look for the Twitter thread. There's multiple ways you can get us questions, and we love those questions. Just like the one true James. He wrote in via Discord and says, you have to finish one modern Nintendo game with an unaltered yet somehow fully operational Power Glove. Which game are you playing?
Oh, this is way easy for
modern
me.
Game?
Yes, I'm playing Yoshi's Crafted World with this.
Oh no!
Like, because I'll be able to move the arms, to be able to throw the eggs, jump around, and that game is still good looking and funny as ever. Playing a game in a bathtub and that's an auto scroll is hilarious, and it's so good. So yeah, I could just be able to control that all with my hand with I would say a working power glove. Because the only problem with the power glove is that you gotta hold your hand and do all of this and everything. And I'm just like, well, if I'm gonna do that, I'd rather play an easier platform game because I know someone's gonna pick Mario Kart, and it's just like, well,
who's playing Mario Kart with a power glove? No. Matt, what about you?
It was a tough choice. I mean, modern Nintendo game. So I guess we're talking Nintendo Switch era if we want to keep it very modern. I don't know. It's tough.
Why do I feel like you would pick like Fire Emblem Three Houses because you get to just select?
That would be an easy out. No, I think I would want a challenge. So I would choose Metroid Dread. Because also kind of feel like Samus with the power glove on. But yeah, I would give that a shot. Especially it's got that rookie mode now where you can play it on a little bit easier difficulty, make it a little more accessible. So yeah, I would try Metroid Dread with the power glove. I think that'd be fun.
Because the way that she will, how you have to repel the shots and stuff, you could just see you be like,
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Doing the counter in real life.
Yes.
Oh man, for me, I think talking strictly modern Nintendo, I think I'm going Mario Wonder.
That, I mean, that
Good
would be fun. Yeah.
2D platformer, although like moving and jumping at the same time might be a challenge. So
Yeah.
maybe I didn't think this through.
Well, what
Uh,
about Captain Toad for you, Corey?
yeah, I don't know, man. I like Captain Toad a lot, but it's just like I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
Luigi's Mansion
Oh
for
no.
you.
Nope. Nope. All right.
No, oh, or it could be Super Mario 3D World. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, maybe. I'm gonna go with a hot maybe on Mario
okay.
3D. I love Mario 3D World though, man.
Oh, I love that game so much.
It's so good.
It's
Oh,
very good.
it's my favorite It's my favorite Mario game.
Bowser's Fury is my favorite Mario game, I think, or one of. It's just such a brilliant idea. I wish it was a little bigger, but like it's just a perfect size Mario game.
I have a confession about Bowser's Fury.
Oh.
I have not touched it yet because I'm waiting until I get all of the green stars in Mario 3D World, and I have 2 levels left.
Okay.
And I cannot finish it, and I refuse to play Bowser's Fury until I finish it.
It's very stubborn. I mean, I didn't play Bowser's Fury till I finished World because I had never played World before because I didn't have a Wii U, and so I played through it all first, loved it, and then I went back and played Bowser's Fury. But I loved it. I thought Bowser's Fury was brilliant.
Where's that
say?
sequel
They haven't played they haven't played.
Ed, nobody played Wii U games until they came to Switch. Okay, it's just a fact.
Look,
we're the only ones. We're the only ones.
Look.
The Wii U library is sadly my biggest library outside of Switch.
It's good.
Y'all need to get Jacob McCord on. He just became. He goes by the Wii U Wonder Kid because he was determined to collect for all console, and so he picked the Wii U, and he's been buying games for it.
I hope he bought Devil's Third when it came out. Because,
no, good googly that game.
That's cost more than the entire collection itself.
That's true.
At this point, I had a copy and then I got rid of it because I didn't like it.
What about Watch Dogs on Wii U?
Oh man, it's worth like $8. I bought it.
Dang.
I bought it when it was $60 though. So that joke's on me, I guess. Speaking of jokes, Yari writes in. I love Yari. She's so great. Man. The questions she writes into After Dark though are like I'm a little bit worried about her. I'm not gonna lie to you. But she's interesting at least. She writes in with the amazing DMC3 port in mind, what PS2 GameCube era games would you like to see ported and updated for the Switch?
Well, this is an easy one for me.
Oh man,
any of the Capcom 4. So Beautiful Joe 2. What was the other one? I mean, the GameCube version of Resident Evil, or
technically Resident Evil 4 is on.
No, Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil GameCube game, is not on the Switch.
Yeah,
it's only on PC. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to buy it as part of the Origins collection, and it's zero and 1. But
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that one, but Beautiful Joe 1 and 2 and Killer 7, all of those should be on the Switch.
Yeah, Beautiful Joe, by the way, on the OLED screen.
Yeah.
Oh man, where's that at? Where is Beautiful Joe, man?
Hitching a go baby.
I love those games so much, and they were just such hits, and like they just vanished. It's such a bummer.
Yeah. Look, I just need
Wonderful 101. Nobody wants that.
Skies of Arcadia. I need Skies of Arcadia.
That's a good one. One of the best RPGs ever made. Skies of Arcadia. That's a good one.
I actually need Res. I want Res on Switch. Or
that's
Switch.
also like, good. Yeah.
Oh goodness, Mizuguchi. I love Mizuguchi. I mean, yes, everybody, please go play Tetris Effect. Like, if you want some,
one of the best games ever made.
Oh, how in the world is that soundtrack a banger playing Tetris? Like, it's so hard to play Tetris when you just like, oh, he picked some of the cuts. I love Mizuguchi. I'm sorry, Corey.
I didn't say a word. I love Tetris Effect.
Yes.
It's so good.
Played it for the first time last year on Steam Deck. Loved it. Was crying by the end. Beautiful.
I played most of it on Switch with headphones in. On my
I played it with headphones in also on my Steam Deck. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, Eternal Dark. I said Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
I actually want Dragon Quest 8 on Switch. I know it came to 3DS, but man, I love Dragon Quest 8 so much. I love that game. Goodness.
Man, what a game. What a
Yeah.
like, can we just talk about that era of consoles for a second? Gosh, so
Oh, yeah.
they're so.
It's
It felt like the last like era where companies were making games to make games and not to like
mhm.
make money, I guess. Yeah, I know they were making games to make money. I'm not stupid, but like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we just talked about a ton of layoffs today and every week for the last year and a half. It feels like, but like, it just felt like, oh, Onimusha, that game probably sold like 500,000 units, but it was awesome. Or I
Mhm.
don't know, Devil May Cry or Beautiful Joe. I mean, Beautiful Joe didn't sell anything, and they made a sequel, which was awesome.
Yeah, and the thing about it, it's just like nobody was caring about exclusives or art. Where some people might be arguing about console stuff, but it's just like you had hit first party games. Capcom was everywhere making some great games. Xbox was killing it on with the online space. Halo? Oh heck! If you did not have Halo and you did not have Xbox Online, or I don't know what it was called at that time, man, you didn't know what gaming was online once you with Halo. Like the only other game that came close to it, or two games I should say, was like World of Warcraft and Fantasy Star Online. Like that's the only
Fantasy
those
Star,
two
man.
games.
Yeah.
Man, just like Halo Online was the thing. And then Halo 2 online, shoot, dude, you couldn't get people off that. The weekends, you would have your pizza and your drinks in Halo 2 online.
Fantasy Star Online on the GameCube. I wasted so many hours of my life playing that game with my friends. Multiplayer, split
Mhm.
screen. Loved that game. Uh, yeah, it's a great era. The my wonderful podcast has done a retrospective on the PS2, and it was. We also did one on the GameCube, and both those episodes are great. And yeah, we dig into a lot of how like companies weren't afraid to get weird. Like I feel like the Wii and before is when gaming wasn't afraid to get weird and like
Mhm.
there's still stuff like that now, mostly in the indie space, but like back then you could get like a game of almost anything, right? It was like kind of wild.
Yeah.
Uh, since you said beautiful Drew, can we get Soul Calibur 2 get
Oh,
GameCube? Because
I
like
love that version. Yeah, it's a good
we
version.
not even we're not even about to play around with Link or anything. That Soul Calibur 2 on GameCube was everything.
Yeah, it was my favorite version.
How about some real versions of Kingdom Hearts on that Switch thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dude,
that would be great. Yeah,
when they
the cloud version of 3 I get. The cloud version of 3 I get, but 1 and 2 stupid. Like there's a whole collection on the PS4 that's 1, 2 and like the interstitial games that should run on the Switch. There's no reason. I mean, I
that
could see.
collection's on the PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. That's wild to me. Maybe when the Switch 2 comes out, we'll see it. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's wild to me.
I know.
Because that's the weird thing. I'm like, how the heck did Final Fantasy 12 end up on Switch?
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's just like, y'all can't put Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on that mod?
Yes,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 12 came out after Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I think. So like
Yeah.
it's a more advanced game. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ed.
Yeah, and they put the better version on the Switch, the Zodiac Age. They put the
Yeah.
better version on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Kingdom Hearts. I'm getting really upset.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move away from that.
Yeah, let's
we
move
really we really don't talk about Kingdom Hearts a lot here at Boss Rush because I don't know if people really want to hear about it, but B, it also makes me very upset because all I want to do is play it on Switch and I can't do that.
on. Yeah.
I own it on every single console I own that it's available on except for Switch because I
Yeah.
refuse to play the cloud versions.
Yeah, that's legit.
I have all physical versions of 1 and 2. I don't have the 3DS and PSP and all of the side games. All of that nonsense. Confusing mess.
Speaking of confusing, not this has anything to do with Nintendo or anything, but you ever
Also,
remember-
with the DMC3 port in mind, I'm sorry, with the DMC port in mind, it is on Switch.
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
1 through 3
oh,
are all
Yeah,
on
all three of
Switch.
them are.
Okay, that's why I was wondering just
Yeah,
I'm like, that
yeah.
game is already on Switch. Okay,
Yeah.
just had to say that.
Anyways, before Ed interrupted me on my very not important discussion topic. You ever look at your contact list? Because like I'm reorganizing things, and you ever look at your contact list and look at people on your contact list and be like, who the hell is that?
Constantly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to
I got
be
you.
obnoxious and
Corey.
do that.
I see.
Seamus the Kilted Gamer writes in, why do NES top loaders have to be so darn expensive?
That's a great question.
So
I have a sad story about this.
Because they came out late before the Super Nintendo came out. Huh?
The dog bone controllers. Sorry.
Yeah. I think there was only a limited quantity of those systems when they came out because Nintendo was moving on to the Super Nintendo, and not many games were, not many people were expecting a new Nintendo, or a redesigned Nintendo to come out. So I think that's why they're just expensive. It's just a limited quantity, and no one knew about like redesigned consoles. Like even the Sega Master System didn't get a. I believe they didn't get a redesign. Like Sega didn't get to the redesigned consoles until like Sega Genesis. So in a sense, like the NES is kind of the first, unless Game Boy was the one. But yeah, it was just a limited quantity, and only selected stores carry it. Like you didn't find it at Toys R Us or KB Toys. You might have found it, shoot, luckily at a dollar store or something like that. Like it was very limited, and if you found one and you didn't snag it, yeah, the resale price of it is very high because of limited quantity.
Man, I feel really sad about telling the story, but here we go. So I was at a retro game store probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, like maybe like a year before the pandemic started, and I saw one for $45 with 2 controllers and the gray duck hunt gun.
No.
And I was like, I was like, man, if I had any more money to my name, I would have snatched it up. But
Right.
at that time, I was like super poor and trying to, work a job I didn't like and all these other things. So it didn't happen. But man, I saw it for $45, 2 dog bone controllers, authentic dog bone controllers, and a gray duck hunt gun for $45. And it's one of the many sad things of my life. So
I think that's why everybody hit like grandma's garage sale, because grandma, if she got old video games, and she only puts like, well, this thing is so old, my grandson, the granddaughter don't play it no more, so it's only $7.50.
Yeah,
baby. Don't you know the quickness of that stuff would be gone? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the best deals I've found is like flea markets and stuff because folks just want to get rid of stuff. Yeah, I regret I sold my whole video game collection growing up, and it kills me. And I've with some exceptions, I have a handful of games still, but like I've started to slowly build up stuff, and like I got a decent price. I got a copy of Metroid Fusion, which is my favorite Metroid game, and like a friend of mine had an extra copy, so he sold it to me for like $30 or something when it normally retails for, well, not retails, but resells for like 75 or 80. So like, yeah, I get that. And like it's funny, when we were younger, like there was no such thing as like a video, like retro collecting just wasn't like it is now, especially with the accessibility on the internet, so people can jack up prices and compare prices. So I probably missed out on a lot of cheap, I mean, there are definitely older PS2 games that now are really expensive that I probably could never replace, things like that. So yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten rid of a lot of things. I think we've all gotten rid of things at one point or another.
Oh yeah,
for Ed,
totally.
because he keeps everything. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've gotten rid of things to pay for rent and
yeah, same,
all these other kinds of things, and then I lost a lot of things when my apartment burned down, so that was also fun. But yeah, anyways, enough of that. But that's our questions, unless I missed any. I didn't really check Twitter today, so
that's everything.
Yeah. So, but that's it. We're done. We did it.
Woo!
All right, everybody, we're gonna get quickly into our final thoughts. Corey, do you have any final thoughts?
I just I just want to tell Matt I'm a big fan. Um,
Aw.
I'm a really big fan. I'm glad that you hung out with us probably longer than you wanted
No,
to.
no, no, no.
But I appreciate you taking the time, and like I said, I'm a big fan. I'm glad we met finally at PAX, and um, this was fun.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I really, like I said then, and I'll say it again now. I love what Boss Rush Network is doing. I'm glad that Dan introduced me to y'all folks online and reading the articles and checking out the shows. Happily guest on any podcast you want to have me on. But I'm a big fan of your work too, and it's a pleasure to be here. You know, the indie podcast scene is kind of really this really big and supportive community, and like I've become friends with a ton of other podcasters over the last handful of years, and all good folks and guesting on each other's shows. And SideQuest has been a really good resource for that. There may in the future be an episode with Ed on it.
Ooh.
And I'm sure Corey, I'll get you to do one too. But like, yeah, I love teaming up with other indie podcasters. It's a blast. And like I got a really heartening statistic recently that like any podcast that's running for I think more than 20 or 30 episodes is in like the top 10% of podcasts or whatever, because most podcasts drop off after the first 10 episodes. The waste bin of podcasting is huge, and so like if you're doing it regularly, you're in the top percentile and you should be proud of the work you're doing. And so I say that to you, Boss Rush Network podcasting and beyond, that you guys are doing some great stuff, and I love Pow Block, and so thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Me and Corey always talk about the numbers. Like if you hit a certain numbers of recording, and you go forth, you know that you're doing something good. And we was just like, even if you don't get that many listeners or anything, if your passion is about something and you love podcasting, go forth and do it. You
Yeah.
know, because at some point in time, with all the hard work that you put in, you're going to get something out of it. Like
Yeah.
me and Corey, we went from what DNA to Boss Rush. Like we have our
We've
ups
taken
and
a
downs.
journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like we still talk about PAX, but like who in a million years, two people who've been podcasting for years or even close to a decade got the chance to go to PAX and meet all of these other amazing people. Like w- like it's crazy, you know, it's crazy that happened, but it was because of our passion. We kept
Yeah.
going forward and
Oh yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So well, Matt,
390 episodes, Ed. No, this is too many. What do they say
Matt,
about people that keep going that long?
what are your final thoughts? And if you want to plug, you can plug
Thank you.
those stuff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, again, thank you both for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you all in person as well. I'm looking forward to more collaborations and harassing y'all to do side quest episodes and come on the main show and stuff. Yeah, you can find me on most places, DJ _ Stormaggedon, except Blue Sky, where I'm only DJ Stormaggedon because they don't like underscores over there for some reason. You can find all of my work at djstormageddon.com. You can get this fine mug on my merch store. Shameless plug. A design of my own making. And then there's other merch there too, like this fun and games t-shirt. I swear I didn't do this on purpose. And then as far as the podcast, you can also find them at djstormageddon.com. They're fun and games. Reignite is my BioWare podcast that I host with the incredible Frankie Bradley Lestrange, and we started as a Mass Effect podcast. We went through the whole trilogy playing as if we were Shepard and discussing our decisions, and then I played Andromeda for the first time on that show, and now we're doing Dragon Age. We just finished Origins as of when we're recording and gearing up for Dragon Age 2. So join us on that. We're still discussing narrative and sexuality and the choices we make and why we make them. It's a blast. And then Screen Snark is on hiatus probably till the summer, but it's a great show where we interview a guest and talk about the most recent things we've watched. It's really a lot of fun. Have had some really cool guests over there. And then the Game Informer show, I edit for them pretty much every week. I do the audio version, and it's a lot of fun. Good folks over there at Game Informer, worth checking out. I think that's it for me. And if you enjoyed me on this episode, give me a shout on social media. I'm most active on the hell site that is Twitter, unfortunately. But you can find me on just about any social media platform, and feel free to say hi.
I have to hear about Andromeda. I gotta know everybody's thoughts about that game. I actually love the Andromeda.
I played it for the first time for the show. My co-host Frankie had played it when it came out. I missed it, and we thought it'd be fun for me to like get my initial opinions on the season 4. And I loved it. Like, it had its issues, and I had my complaints, but I love the characters. I mean, it does what BioWare does, what they do best, which is great characters, fun narrative. And it was some of the best gameplay in the franchise because they used the Frostbite engine, and it just worked really well. It's not a perfect game, still has bugs, still had a lot of problems with it, but ultimately I enjoyed it and will replay it at some point. And I'm bummed that there hasn't been anything to connect to it, but I really liked it.
Which they probably gonna be at the Summer Direct. They gotta talk this summer about Dragon Age, because they really been quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. EA laid off a bunch of folks at BioWare recently this year, so I don't know. We'll see. I know the Mass Effect game's never coming out. I've just resolved myself of that. Dragon Age, in theory, is at some point in production, so maybe we'll get it. Who knows? Dreadwolf is a giant question mark at this point. We've gotten narrative trailers, and that's it. But who knows? I try to stay optimistic. I love BioWare, even though the studio that I loved is practically dead because it's not the same people anymore. But like, I'm still trying to be optimistic. I love the Dragon Age franchise, so we'll see. But I'm not super optimistic overall that we'll actually see those games. But who knows? We'll see.
Yes. Microsoft, show them in your showcase. Oh, I told Corey, I'm like, oh, June 9th, that's a day off for me. Don't send a smoke signal or anything. My phone is dead. Only person I need to talk to is Corey and the other Boss Rush crew members. Like, I cannot wait for the Xbox showcase. And so my final thought, everybody, is this Nintendo Direct for the summer, it has to be hot. Like, yes, Metroid Prime 4, I understand we all want to see it, but come on, Nintendo, you got to drop some heat because I'm getting concerned about what are you guys going to show. Microsoft right now is winning 2024. Like, in PlayStation, as much greatness that they got and stuff, they're a little kind of worrisome right now. But man, like, Nitty, I need you to show up this year. Like, and if you don't show up and Microsoft gets the love and get the games, I'm fine with that. But like, Nitty, I need you to do something. I need you to talk, because like, if your new console is dropping next year, man, you gotta come out. Gotta come out with some bangers. Mario Kart 9, like, if that is your game that you're gonna release on your next console as a launch game, you're about to have everybody talking. But besides, so that's my final thought. But everybody, Matt, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Everybody, have a great week. Have a great week.
Makes one of us.
And we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.